Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. RHOD alum Tiffany Moon weighs in on below-deck sailing yachts Daisy Kelliher and Chef Cloyce Martin. The Real Housewives of Dallas alum Tiffany Moon appeared on below-deck sailing yacht for a brief stint this week. Tiffany was joined by her husband Daniel and two other couples for a quick trip on the Parsifal IV in Ibiza. The group appeared to have a great time on their one-day charter, except for Jerry, who clashed with Stu Diana Cruz over an espresso martini. Honestly, Tiffany and her group were a pleasure to watch, even their photo shoot on the beach. Following their episode, the RHOD alum opened up about her below-deck sailing yacht experience. Chef Cloyce Martin and Chief Stew Daisy Kelliher were two of the topics Tiffany addressed. What did Tiffany Moon say about below-deck sailing yacht star Daisy Kelliher? Season 5 has been a struggle for Daisy, who isn't just dealing with the aftermath of Season 4 and stews like Danny Warren, making things more challenging for her. Daisy hid her struggles well because Tiffany had nothing but great things to say about the chief stew. Speaking with the Daily Dish, Daisy got mad props from the Real Housewives of Dallas alum. She really took pride in her work and made every detail seamless. I could tell she was a true professional, attentive to every aspect of our experience, Tiffany expressed. Below-deck sailing yacht fans might be surprised to learn that Tiffany also had good things to say about Cloyce. RHOD alum Tiffany Moon weighs in on Chef Cloyce Martin's food. There's no question that Cloyce has had his issues this season on below-deck sailing yacht. As Monsters and Critics previously reported, Married to Medicine alum Contessa Metcalfe was not a fan of the food during her charter. That was not the case for Tiffany or her group, all of whom really enjoyed the chef's cooking. The chef's food was absolutely incredible. Every dish was beautifully presented, and you could tell there was so much thought and creativity behind each meal. The flavors were incredible, she said. The chef went above and beyond to accommodate everyone's preferences, she told the Daily Dish. In fact, Tiffany went as far as to say there wasn't a meal of Cloyce's that didn't impress her. 3 charters into the below-deck sailing yacht, and the crew has gotten mixed reviews from guests and fans. Speaking of fan opinions, there's speculation that Emma Crouch will get fired, and you can read all about it here. It was a rare sunny afternoon in Dallas when Tiffany Moon found herself lost in thought over a subject quite removed from her usual realm of luxury and drama. The world of nautical adventures and culinary clashes on below-deck sailing yacht. As a proud alum of the Real Housewives of Dallas, Tiffany was no stranger to cast dynamics and on-screen tension. But something about Daisy Kelliher, the hard-working chief stew, and Chef Cloyce Martin had captivated her lately. This unlikely duo had navigated their fair share of rough seas, both on deck and in the galley, and the chemistry between them was impossible to ignore. Tiffany hadn't missed a single episode of the current season of Below Deck. She was drawn in by Daisy's wit and humor, her refreshing approach to leadership, and the almost magical way she could soothe even the most demanding of charter guests. And then there was Cloyce, a recent addition to the yacht's crew, with an impressive culinary background and an ego to match. His brash personality clashed with Daisy's level-headedness, yet they shared an unspoken camaraderie that Tiffany found oddly endearing. During a recent wine and charcuterie night with her closest friends, Tiffany decided to broach the subject. She poured herself a glass of Pinot Noir, settling into her favorite armchair as her friends gathered around, eager to hear the latest on her Bravo-related insights. "All right, ladies," she started, swirling her wine. "You all know Daisy Kelliher and Chef Cloyce Martin, right?" A few of her friends gave knowing nods, while others looked at her quizzically. "Below-deck sailing yacht," she clarified. "I mean, I can't be the only one who's absolutely fascinated by their dynamic." Her friends laughed, leaning in with anticipation. Tiffany took a thoughtful sip before continuing. "Daisy has this fierce work ethic, and she's genuinely good at her job. I respect that, but she's dealing with Cloyce, who's, let's just say, a bit of a challenge. He's talented, but he has this arrogance that she has to navigate, and it's both hilarious and frustrating to watch." One of her friends, a fellow Housewives fanatic, chimed in, "Isn't that the classic chef stew dynamic? High stress, high stakes, and too much ego to go around." Tiffany nodded with a smile. "Yes, but there's something different here. Daisy's patience and grace shine through, even when Cloyce is being over the top. And let's be real, there's definitely some chemistry there. It's not just in the way they argue. It's in the moments where she rolls her eyes and he smirks. There's a spark. Her friends listened, intrigued by her take, but Tiffany wasn't finished. She couldn't help but analyze the potential impact of this relationship dynamic on both Daisy and Cloyce's careers, and maybe even her own life as well. You know, she continued, being a housewife taught me a lot about how people perceive you, especially when there's romantic tension or conflict involved. It doesn't matter if it's real or edited in a certain way, people see what they want to see. I wonder if Daisy's aware of just how much Cloyce brings out in her that she might not see in herself. Her friends leaned in, absorbed by Tiffany's unexpected depth on the matter. One friend, a bit more skeptical, teased, "Are you saying you'd be Team Daisy and Cloyce? Because I'm seeing major red flags there." Tiffany laughed, raising her glass. "Look, I'm just saying it's compelling. Daisy has a strong backbone, she's resilient, she knows her boundaries and her limits. But Cloyce challenges her, and that's something we all need sometimes, right?" Another friend who had worked in a high-stress corporate job nodded knowingly. "There's something about that kind of tension that's magnetic. It pushes you to be better, even when it drives you nuts." Tiffany considered this, nodding. "Exactly, and Cloyce, as much as he might drive Daisy crazy, also seems to respect her in his own twisted way. It's like he's constantly testing her, but he knows she's up to the challenge. And yes, maybe I see a bit of myself in Daisy too," she admitted, laughing at herself. "Maybe it's because I had to learn to deal with some strong personalities myself on RHOD. You have to stand your ground, especially when others are trying to push your buttons." As the conversation unfolded, Tiffany's friends began to see her perspective more clearly. It was evident that Tiffany's fascination went beyond simple entertainment. She saw in Daisy a kindred spirit, someone juggling a demanding role with poise, strength, and a hint of vulnerability. And maybe, just maybe, Cloyce was the spark that made her shine a little brighter. One of her friends, who hadn't yet watched Below Deck, finally caved. "All right, Tiff, you've convinced me. I'm watching it this weekend, and I'll let you know if I pick up on this chemistry." Tiffany clinked glasses with her, a triumphant smile spreading across her face. "Trust me, you'll see it. And who knows? Maybe one day I'll be out on a yacht with my own crew," she joked, winking. As they continued chatting, Tiffany couldn't help but wonder what might be next for Daisy and Cloyce. She envisioned a potential romance, a late-night argument that ended with laughter, or maybe even a deeper friendship that both would remember long after the charter season ended. And who knows? If Bravo ever called for her to make an appearance on Below Deck, maybe she'd have her own moment to weigh in on this mysterious, undeniable spark. Later that night, as she got ready for bed, Tiffany took a last look at her phone, scrolling through Daisy and Cloyce's scenes on her streaming app. She smiled, amused by how invested she'd become in these two, her mind buzzing with thoughts of their will-they-won't-they tension. She thought about the power of connection, how unexpected personalities could bring out the best, and sometimes the worst, in each other, but ultimately make for one unforgettable adventure. After all, Tiffany mused, life on a luxury yacht or in the world of Texas elite wasn't all that different. Each was its own little ecosystem, filled with its own unique challenges and personalities. And for Tiffany, the thrill of analyzing it all, whether from her home in Dallas or out on the open sea, was an experience in itself.